3-1 series lead on the Magic with a 107-98 win. Jason Tatum with 37 points and 14 rebounds to lead Boston. Stanley Cup playoffs, the Oilers beat the Kings 4-3 in overtime. Leon Draisaitl with the game winner. The Oilers come back from 2 goals down in the third period to tie the series at 2. And breaking news, Penguins coach Mike Sullivan gets fired today after 10 years on the job. Sullivan led the team to Stanley Cup titles in 2016 and 2017.
SportsMed is the official team physicians of the Rocket City Trash Pandas. And if the pros trust SportsMed, you can too. SportsMed provides every service you might need for complete orthopedic care, specializing in orthopedic surgery, sports medicine, joint replacement, spine surgery, neurosurgery, and podiatry. And they offer their own brace shop, in-house full-body MRI, physical therapy, walk-in clinic, and so much more. 4 locations and on the web at sportsmedalabama.com.
Normally, when you call a roofing company, all you hear is, you need a new roof. Not when you call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Since 1965, the folks at Fleming have been focused on what you need, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement, commercial or residential. And when it comes to storm damage, you want Fleming on your side. They know all the ins and outs of insurance claims and will guide you through the entire process. Log on FlemingHSV.com and book your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
Hey, there's the phone and no one to answer.
256-576-4977.
And as a result, we got many, many phone calls and letters.
Give us a call on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline today. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone. Joe Hunk, John Abraham, 256-576-4977. Welcome to the Blitz.
Hello and welcome in to a mild Monday. I don't know. It's another week. It's another episode of the Blitz. John Abraham and another guy over on the other side. Obviously, it's not Joe because he's currently having a baby, which it has officially come out. It is a girl. Joe's family just got a little bit bigger, and he is now outnumbered in the Hunk household, which I've still yet to visit, even though he was, definitely wanting me to come on down to his old stomping grounds, as he also was able to call a little bit of wrestling at New Hope. Very interesting WrestleMania type of thing that they were doing over there to raise some money for their team. But either way, welcome back into the show. 256-576-4977 is the number to jump in. And we got the right guy to join in to help out as we get through this week without Joe Hunk. And it is one Mr. Steve Moulton. Steve,
good morning.
How are you doing today?
Good morning. We've got another Hunkapillar in the world upon us.
Yes,
right?
And congratulations to him.
Congratulations. Mom is doing well. Happy to report that. And what? Now they're just 6 kids away from the Abraham clan. Is that about right?
Yeah, I don't know if they're going to try and catch up to us, but they almost have enough. If they want to, 2 more kids, they can have a hockey lineup. All right, and then obviously, if there's a penalty, they'd have to have 1 more.
Well, no, they'd need a goaltender. I mean,
you're not.
There's that as well.
Well, could Joe be the goaltender? Because usually, no, you don't think so.
Too many have slipped past the goaltender, if you know what I'm talking about.
Well,
I got you there.
I'm not going to get into details on that. Regardless, had a lot go over the weekend, and we're going to get.
Would think that is funny.
She would. We'll have a lot of fun conversation to get into with the NFL draft, of course. A lot of eyes.
What happened in the NFL draft? I'm not aware of.
257 guys got picked to go into the NFL, and we'll see how many of those guys actually go into the NFL. Of course, SEC dominance across the board, but also
I thought the SEC was going to stop playing football. Yeah. I thought, especially after what we all heard.
Oh yeah,
over the last 2 years, that does the SEC even have football programs anymore?
They got enough football programs to put in. What was it, 79 this year into the NFL in the draft, of course, because we're still seeing people and players getting picked up right now.
Committee got it right, I guess.
Yeah, I guess they did. Last 2, I mean, Big Ten, you can't fault them too bad, all right? Because 71 players from the Big Ten, It is just a top-heavy draft, okay? Then you see the rest.
I really want a stack of papers of this draft to go to each individual committee member and say, these are who got evaluated in the National Football League. All right. Listen, I know one doesn't equate to the other. That I get it. I get it from that perspective, but from a completely different perspective, what I learned from the committee this past year was wins and losses matter more than anything.
Oh, yeah, they do. Well, here's what
you could be Indiana and just, or SMU.
Yep.
Just, coast on in.
Just coast on in.
Yeah.
I mean, at least they weren't the Atlantic Coast Conference. But
I will tell you this. I did not watch a whole lot of Arizona State last year, but Cam Scatteroo.
Yeah, no, that is a NFL player right there. He's got the size, the metrics of an NFL player. But 79 from the SEC, 71 from the Big Ten, and then that is the drop off to the ACC, 42. But again, they get the first pick in the NFL draft. We got to wait a few picks until the SEC starts getting off the board. But once it does, starts rolling. And again, I will say the Big Ten had quite a few players get picked. All right. 71, I think, is still over what the SEC's most was. And I think that was 69. And the reason why we're seeing this, why we're seeing all these conferences break these records from past drafts is because this is the landscape of college football.
Yeah.
This is what it's going to come to, Steve. It's going to come to teams like I can't even say SMU because SMU used to be a small school that you would have transferred out of to go somewhere else. But teams like Toledo or, all of these other squads out in the Middle Tennessee and all that stuff, they're going to have to start claiming some of these guys that transfer onto these bigger schools because that's the only place that people are going to get picked from.
It just, that is the nature of the game right now.
It very much is.
And we saw it with the portal, even closing on Friday of guys going in for that one last payday because what else did we find out on Friday? The judge delaying her ruling yet again.
Yep.
So I imagine guys were thinking, this is my last chance at a big payday.
Yep.
I really don't blame the kids because of the way the system is right now. But nonetheless, that's why the portal is flooded right now.
You got to take advantage of it. And if you don't, then you're going to end up like a guy that got drafted in the 7th round.
Yeah.
And he was the final quarterback drafted in the NFL draft. Quinn Ewers, who could have went on to make around $4 million one more year for one very needy team.
It's a pay cut.
There you go.
That is a pay cut there.
He definitely cut himself off there.
He did. But that's the nature of the beast right there of guys that went undrafted. How about Brady Cook from Missouri went undrafted? Isaiah Bond went undrafted as well. Brew McCoy, Tennessee fans, he went undrafted. What are some other undrafted names that you might? Eugene Asante, Auburn fans went undrafted. But
well, there's going to be a few Mississippi State players going undrafted because that was the only SEC team to not send a player to the NFL. 15 out of 16 SEC squads sent players in. Even Vanderbilt. It was a long snapper.
Is this the low point, Mississippi State fans? I mean, listen, the way Mike Leach had that thing at least set up right before his unfortunate passing, this has got because they have won one SEC game in the last 2 years. That is just bananas to me for Mississippi State. This has to be the low point of Mississippi State football. It's not as if they have this big, long, storied winning in their background, but nonetheless, no draft picks and one SEC win over the last 2 years. This feels like a low point of Mississippi State football.
256-576-97-7.
James Burnap did not get drafted as well, Alabama fans.
So for all of the Mississippi State fans out there that are thinking that this might be the low point, love to hear your guys' opinions on it and how to get the tracks back on the rails. On top of that, we are going to have Gary Barnett on. Thank you very much, Steve, for your entire Rolodex of all of these great contacts.
Coach Barnett, who's part of the Colorado radio network as well and a former Buffs coach as well. But I reached out to Coach, to get his opinion on the NFL draft, but also on the fit that the Browns now have in what is a very crowded quarterback room.
Yeah.
There on the lake.
Yeah, I saw a meme that was, this is the most devious, like, blunt rotation ever. And I don't look, all right. It was a funny post. Then I looked at it a little bit more. I was thinking to myself, this is a very strange room. But at the same time, you get 2 quarterbacks in this draft. What it reminds me of.
I wish Jameis Winston was still part of that room. I really do.
He would make it a little bit more lively, but I think Sheduer is going to do that with his entire posse coming in. I do look at it, and I have to think back to, was it 2013? Was it? It might have been a little bit 2012. RG3, Kirk Cousins.
Okay.
Going to the Redskins. One of them drafted in the first round. The other one drafted in the 4th. Okay. And then you see kind of how that whole thing played out. You have a quarterback that is good, maybe a Dylan Gabriel, that plays throughout a few of the games, and then he gets injured, or he just doesn't have the consistency that you'd want to see out of a starter, so you switch it up a little bit. Then you got a guy like Sheduer, has a little bit more time to watch, to learn, to understand, especially behind a guy like Joe Flacco, which I think is a wonderful combination, but it is a very full room. So you're going to have to get rid of somebody. Is it going to be Kenny Pickett? It's not going to be Deshaun Watson. You still got millions of dollars to pay for him. It's coming. It's gonna be cutting thin.
Is Flacco your starting quarterback?
Yes, I would say Flacco's the starting quarterback going into the 2025 season. I look at Kenny Pickett. I think he's a very serviceable backup, but I mean, you don't want to have him as their starter. That's
don't say it around Pittsburgh Steelers fans.
Yeah. Small hands. I liked him when he came into the NFL. It was all about that. Remember the
hand size,
the move he did, where he
fake slid.
The
fake slid.
Looked like his ACL would have gave out at any moment, but then he kept going. He looked like a stud at Pitt, but then when he goes into the NFL,
it's always a different deal.
It's a different deal. So that's how it's going to be.
And of course, that leads into our man, Mel Kiper Jr. Boy, Mel with the old meltdown. I'm telling you. But if you really listen to Mel Kiper Jr.,
is not about.
Let's listen to Mel.
This is about, do we want you to play the position for us? That's what this.
Why wouldn't they, Lou?
Well, look, that's a whole nother discussion that we've had in many different ways for weeks
I would say
and months now.
Not one of the toughest quarterbacks.
But Mel, this isn't about. This isn't about quarterback traits and quarterback characteristics, personal football character. That's not about this. This is about. This is personal.
Has he had an off the field issue? No, he has not.
Mel, you don't have to sell it to me.
No, I don't know what we're talking about here.
You're right. You're right. Yes, you're right. But you know what? But Mel, the draft has spoken.
That's right. That's the key, Mel. It's not putting a value judgment on whether those who pass are right or wrong. They did. Yep. So now, whenever you're in circumstances in life, whether you like them, whether you don't like them, whether they're fair or whether they're unfair, you might have to deal with it.
That's
and
right.
now Sheduer Sanders has to deal with
everything.
And for whatever reason, whether he played a minute, microscopic percentage, 0%, or it's a legitimate criticism of the way he conducted himself during the draft process, this was the result. Now he has an opportunity to answer it. I mean, I think yelling at the NFL about it is not.
There's not a quarterback. Boomer Esiason was not happy when he was a second round pick.
Tom Brady was not happy.
They dropped. How'd they turn out?
And you know what? Nobody's arguing that.
My point is that the NFL has been clueless for 50 years when it comes to evaluating quarterback. Clueless. They have no idea what they're doing in terms of evaluating quarterback. That's proof. There's proof of that.
All right, so to that point right there, Mel's not wrong. Evaluating quarterbacks in the National Football League, one of the hardest things ever. Just go back but I will tell you, Mel needs to throw himself in that same pot. It's not just NFL executives of some Indianapolis guy saying, who the hell is Mel Kiper Jr.? Listen, if Mel were to throw himself in there of saying, hey, I've had some misses too at quarterback. But how good is Sheduer Sanders is going to be? I have no idea. How good Cam Ward's going to be? I've got some doubts, but I still have no idea.
They're getting thrown into this team that they have no connection with, okay? And this is where you got new wide receivers. You have new offensive linemen. Everything's going to be different.
Yeah.
And if you don't pan out in the first 2 years, your career might be a second stringer or a third stringer the rest of the way.
Yeah.
Look at Zach Wilson. Look, I never thought Zach Wilson would be good in the first place, all right? He showed some flair, but at the same time, he was a quarterback out of BYU. He goes to the New York Jets. They put him in. They say, hey, you're going to be playing football now. You're going to be our starter now. You just don't do that. So for a guy like Cam Ward, he's going to get thrown into that position. And the same thing could likely happen to him. Now, again, I thought that Cam Ward way better than what I saw out of Zach Wilson in college football. But at the same time, you've got a guy like Brock Purdy right now that is getting paid because of the way that he's able to adjust to the NFL after being mystery relevant just a few years ago.
Coming up on the program today, we're going to talk some Georgia baseball, I imagine, and some Georgia football.
Oh, yeah. Most draft picks from Georgia.
With Anthony Dasher. He's going to join us coming up, as well as we're also going to hear from Coach Gary Barnett after our first time out. But I did also learn something else over the weekend. That is, you do not ask about Bill Belichick's girlfriend. You don't ask about Bill Belichick's girlfriend.
Jordan was a constant presence during our interview.
You have Jordan right over there. Everybody in the world seems to be following this relationship. They've got an opinion about your private life. It's got nothing to do with them, but they're invested in it. How do you deal with that?
Never been too worried about what everybody else thinks. Just try to do what I feel like is best for me and what's right.
How did you guys meet?
Not talking about this.
How about that?
It's a topic neither one of them is comfortable commenting on.
It's the one topic you probably should be straight up with.
I mean, how old is she?
24.
She's 24. But I mean, if you think about what she did right there, that was a 60 minutes crew. That wasn't just a little podcast 101. That was a CBS 60 minutes crew and a 24-year-old woman. We're not talking about that.
Some cojones.
Oh, no. They're in the back. We're not talking about that.
He's like, you brought me up. That means I can talk now. We're not talking about that.
And to see the look on Bill's face as well when she said that. I mean, maybe it's a match. You know what? I love love. I do. I want to believe this is pure and true. And
where'd they meet at?
I have no.
Where'd they meet at?
It's not big on my priority list.
It wasn't big on mine either until she said, we're not discussing.
We're not talking about it.
Come on, I want to know.
We're not talking about
now
it.
I really want to know.
Yeah. All of a sudden, imagination's a very powerful thing.
Yeah. Either way, lots of fun to come. I still have to talk about my Talladega experience.
Yeah, you do.
Because I was going to in this first segment.
Did you get to the infield?
Oh, yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
There we go.
So we'll be talking about that, but we will be hopping into a conversation with Gary Barnett from Colorado Radio, as well as former Colorado head coach. So don't go anywhere because a lot's to come on this Monday edition of the Blitz in the Drive, or whatever we want to call it.
The Blitz. This is still the Blitz.
Okay. It's the Blitz.
Well, without Joe Hunk. But
I feel the drive vibes as well. But yeah, we'll be back.
All right.
The state's largest orthopedic group is growing to meet the needs of the patients in our community. The Orthopedic Center has long been the most trusted name in orthopedics in North Alabama. So as our area continues on the fast track, so does the need for premier orthopedic care anywhere and anytime you need it. TOC is proud to announce the opening of our new locations in Albertville and Hampton Cove, along with the grand opening of our newest office in Decatur. These clinics will offer the same high-quality orthopedic care you have come to associate with TOC, with the convenience of being closer to home. As a patient, your time is your most precious asset, and we recognize that at TOC. That's why we are also proud to announce the opening of our urgent ortho clinics to handle those bumps and bruises that need prompt attention. These clinics are available to care for acute orthopedic injuries with no appointment necessary. With 38 physicians, 20 centers of excellence, and now more than a dozen locations to serve you, TOC will continue to be the name you turn to for the best orthopedic care at the right time. Visit our website at visittoc.com for more information. TOC, helping you live a better life.
Hey there, Bob Baumhauer again. Baumhauer's Victory Grill is extremely proud to have recently received numerous awards, including being voted best wings in the state of Alabama. Other awards received include Best All-Around Restaurant, Best American Restaurant, #1 Sports Bar, Best Chef, Best Wings, and Best Dining Experience. Thank you for 43 legendary years, and we look forward to providing you an award-winning dining experience at every visit. Baumhauer's Victory Grill. Legendary fun, legendary food.
The Braves roll into the 2025 season with a singular focus. Bring home the division title and remind the league what Atlanta is all about.
Swung on, driven to left center field and deep. That baby's out of here. Austin Riley. 3-0 to Olsen, and he powers one. Deep right center field to the wall. It's going to fly. It's a home run. Back-to-back homers.
97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
The company is Eagle Masonry and Insulation, but did you know they're also Eagle Landscaping and Dirt Work? Eagle can take care of all your landscaping needs, including irrigation, sod work, and planting, both plants and trees. On the dirt work side, Eagle can grade and build your pads, haul dirt in or out, and even do erosion control. Philip Love and his team can do it all for you. The website is the same, insulatewitheagle.com, as is the phone number, 256-755-1556. Give them a call and see what Eagle can do for you. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
A wise man once said, if you take care of old folks and children, everything in the middle will take care of itself.
Hi, I'm Danny Aldridge, lawyer in Alabama and Tennessee. In the next 20 years, the number of those folks over 65 years of age will more than double. In our golden years, the most important goal is to be treated with dignity and have control over doing what makes you grateful with those you love. At the Aldridge Law Firm and the Legal Town Center, we're dedicated to help you with these goals, and we'll be there when life throws you those inevitable curveballs. Let us assist you with your legal needs, whatever they may be or become. You may reach us by phone at 256-534-3188 or online with Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. Just remember, we're here to help. Whether it's personal injury, wrongful death, fraud and cheat, or estate planning made complete, we're here to help.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Emily Owen. Quiet night expected across the area. Low temperatures going to be falling into the mid and upper 60s. We'll continue to sit under a partly cloudy sky. That partly cloudy sky will continue into our Tuesday, where high temperatures are expected to reach the lower 80s. Once again, a small chance for rain and a few thunderstorms to develop heading into the afternoon. I'm Fox 54 meteorologist Emily Owen on your home for ESPN Radio 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Tom Abraham back from my friend Ross Roberts at Valley Equipment Rental. It's springtime, so let's get that garden tilled with a tiller from Valley Equipment. And while you're at it, snag a power washer for the house and the driveway. And if you're putting in a sprinkler system, they have the small trencher that you need. And you can even rent a Skag zero-turn mower and much more to get your property in shape. Valley Equipment, not just for the contractor, but the homeowner as well. 2 locations on the North and South Parkway. Valley Equipment Rental. Learn more at valleyequipmentrents.com.
Flying nonstop from Huntsville is a breeze on Breeze Airways. They're nice people flying nice people to nice places on really nice planes. Let's be direct. Nonstop from Huntsville to the places you want to go. Las Vegas, Orlando, or Tampa, starting at $49. It's time for a weekend getaway or a long overdue week away. Time to check in using the convenient Breeze app and check out. What are you waiting for? Book today at flybreeze.com. That's flybreeze.com. Breeze Airways. Seriously nice.
Sports Talk, 24/7, 365. Your full-time sports station.
You're doing a great job. Keep up the good work.
Is 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Doesn't anyone do any work around this joint
All right. This is definitely doesn't have drive feel right here.
Come on now. It's the Blitz drive.
All right.
I just go off of what Joe's put in here.
I am filling in for Joe Hunk. My name is Steve Moulton. That is John Abraham here on a Monday. Joe and his wife Tori have welcomed in a new baby girl.
Oh yeah,
and her name Murphy. Is that right? I
have no idea.
He told me. I thought it was Murphy.
I talked to him. I had an extensive conversation. Yeah. I thought we were going to call it Glork.
Excuse me?
Yeah. Like he
All
was
right.
like he was so close to doing that.
Nonetheless, I am happy to report mom is doing well.
Okay, good.
Dad is probably,
How's little Glork doing?
just probably not sleeping all that much.
I don't think he usually does anyway.
Well, that's a fact too.
But when he does sleep, he's probably sleeping with the reassurance of a roof, a really nice roof, because
Yeah.
Fleming Roofing and Restoration, the guys you need to talk to about all of your roofing needs. If you're having any roofing problems, make sure you look them up online at FlemingHSV.com. This past weekend, I didn't have a roof.
They show up.
Yeah, they do show up. I didn't have a roof this past weekend. I was actually out at Talladega, had the Shag Wagon, a.k.a. the 2004 Ford Expedition Eddie Bauer edition. I didn't know if you knew Eddie Bauer. Eddie Bauer makes vehicles, I guess.
Yeah.
But
that's an old school reference right there with Eddie Bauer.
I do want to talk a little bit about that, but we do need to head out west because
Yes, we do.
You have a pretty interesting conversation ahead of us, Steve.
Yes, we do. A lot made about the draft. In fact, there was 2 names out of Colorado that we were hearing quite a bit this past college football season. And Coach Gary Barnett, former Buffs head coach, as well as part of the Colorado Buffalo Radio Network, is kind enough to join us here on this Monday. Coach, I really do appreciate the time. You're on with John Abraham and Steve Moulton. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Great being with you guys. Yeah, it was an interesting weekend. Starting on Thursday with the draft. So
absolutely,
yeah, a lot of stuff going on out here at our place.
Let me blanketly just ask you this: what did you think of? We were all just around the sports world. It was Sheduer 24/7. So, from your perspective, what was your takeaway of ultimately Sheduer landing to the 144th pick?
I think it's really complicated and it's got a lot of nuances to it. I think that it's a combination of so many things. First of all the publicity this kid's had, all the publicity his family's had, all the publicity that Colorado had. It's a little bit about Travis Hunter because the 2 of them were hand in hand in this whole deal, and Travis being the Heisman Trophy winner and going the 2nd pick, and Sheduer certainly going with him. That all this fed into this expectations. I know our fan base and everybody else, but from day one, Sheduer and Deion both have been very controversial, and I think when it all first started, there was a lot of skepticism as to whether or not Deion could coach at this level or be successful, or his style would work or his tactics would work, and that, Sheduer coming from a lower level, and there was skepticism. And then all of a sudden there was huge belief because of the change that happened this last year, over the last 2 years, but the success they had. And I think there's another thing that's at play here, guys. I think, Sheduer in a lot of ways is the first sort of, I don't want to say victim, I want to say situation where a really high profile kid who is coming from what is now a system that is player controlled.
Yeah.
And that's what college football is now. It's player controlled. They leave when they want to leave.
Yeah.
They demand the kind of money they want. They don't practice when they don't want to practice. And college football has let that happen. So he's sort of a product of this, hey, I'm the guy calling the shots, not you. And so he walks into these interviews and he thinks he's interviewing them for a job instead of them interviewing him for a job.
Wow.
So a lot of that's not his blame, his fault. A lot of that is the fact that that's the way the system is. And you throw on top of that he's very confident. Of course, it crosses the line many times to cocky. He lives in an environment where everything he does is videoed, and he gets paid for it being on video. His dad's created this whole atmosphere of everybody watching and being a part of it, and him calling the shots. So, and then I think the NFL owners said, hey, wait a minute, we run this show, and I think he did some really awful things in interviews. Things that as a parent, would just drive me crazy.
Yeah.
And in some ways it's his fault, in some ways it isn't.
Yeah.
But in the end now, he's got a place. And I read a statement this morning that he's got a chance to go prove everybody wrong. Well, I think if he takes it that way, it'll be the wrong way. I think he's got to go prove him right. And that there's a better approach when you do that. And so we'll see what happens. But I think it's all those forces at work. What do you guys think?
I think some of it comes from, and of course, no disrespect, but a Colorado quarterback in the first place. I don't think a lot of people, when it comes down to it, at least the NFL GMs, they're really looking at these quarterbacks coming out of the Big 12, and they're thinking, oh, this is a guy that's going to get picked in the first round. I think it was the realistic pick. I think waiting till the fifth round, it was something that we could possibly see happen, because you see the guys that get picked at the top. Cam Ward gets number one. Not a lot of people are talking about it because they're focused on Sheduer. But at the same time, Sheduer is a part of that group of quarterbacks that is really good for a fourth or fifth round get.
Yeah.
And you're going to see a high grade whenever. It was an A whenever he came out.
Yeah. And Coach, I thought you were spot on with what you had to say right there. I really did. Especially today's college football. That's the first time I've heard it worded that way. And I think you're spot on, of kids holding all the cards. Yeah. And us as adults, we have allowed this to happen, of the kids holding all the cards. We need an adult in the room in the college football community to take back some of the cards, Coach.
Well, that won't happen, guys, until they finally make them employees, and universities stand up for what universities are supposed to stand up for.
Yeah.
To me, it's crazy that these universities are allowing this to happen. But they have, and that's the way it is. This was a perfect storm. I think what you guys said about the number, first of all, the quality of the quarterbacks that were in the draft.
Yeah.
It wasn't great. I agree, and that's what put Sheduer at the second spot.
Yeah,
projected anyway. Wasn't a great quarterback draft, and it for two reasons. One, not a lot of great quarterbacks, but two, not a lot of needs. So you throw all these things into a bowl, and you've got a perfect storm to have happen what happened.
Yeah, and I totally agree with you. Not a lot of needs. I was looking through whenever the draft board was going, and I saw all these teams that already had solidified spots, or they had quarterbacks in the last few drafts, or they might be waiting for next year's draft, because it looks like that quarterback class is going to be a little bit more interesting. But I do like what you said, to prove himself right. That's what Sheduer needs to do. And I think that it's actually a great message for a kid that obviously thinks very highly of himself. His dad is a Hall of Famer. He thinks very highly of him. But to get a little bit humbled, but also still have an opportunity to come back and then prove everybody that he is as good as he was talking about.
Yeah, it's a great story. It can be a great story. It's going to be up to Sheduer to a great deal, but a lot of other things.
Yeah.
How does that quarterback room roll out at Cleveland? Good grief. I don't know that I've seen two drafted quarterbacks of those two qualities on top of a first rounder and an older guy that's been around and won a Super Bowl. So, that's a heck of a room. I don't think I'd want to be coaching in that room.
How different is a quarterback room from college to pro from what you've seen, Coach? How different of a game is it from college to NFL?
Well, it's different in that you're teaching when you're in college, you're taking 18 and 19-year-olds and 20-year-olds and teaching them a level of football that they have never touched before.
Yeah.
And so their progress is based on how close attention they pay, how mature they are they ready for this? And then you go to an NFL room, and you're expected to already be someone who pays attention. You're expected to be somebody who already understands the details of the game and the details of the quarterback position. And so it's the difference between teaching college and teaching high school almost to some level. And so it's just you have a higher expectation of your guys in the NFL. in the college rank, you got guys you got to bring along, and you got to hope they mature and teach them leadership. Let them understand what leadership looks like in a football team. Supposedly now, when they get to the NFL, they should already understand the leadership part and know what that looks like, and know how important it is at the quarterback position.
No doubt about that. Coach Gary Barnett with Colorado Buffaloes Radio is on with us, talking all things Colorado in the draft. And it wasn't just Sheduer. Of course, Travis Hunter gets picked up in an interesting day one round, or pick 2 trade that we saw between the Jags and the Browns. I mean, where does the success kind of go from a Cleveland Browns team that doesn't have a lot of success moving forward to a team like the Jacksonville Jaguars, who have a solidified quarterback and are trying to get back on track with all that talent on that squad?
Well, one of the things you have to understand, if you're going in the first 3, 4, 5, 6 picks, you're going to somebody who's really hurting. Mm-hmm. Somebody who's not didn't play in the Super Bowl last year.
No,
so you're part of the building process, and you got to understand that. I mean, either one of Travis Hunter's choices, or people who had the choice to take him, Cleveland or Jacksonville, you're going into an organization that just is underachieved. Either one of those organizations that underachieved for a while. And so this isn't going to be just an instant, I'm going in and changing process. And you've got to be patient with that in your own attitude as you go in. So, but, Travis Hunter, I think, being in a Southern school, him being from the South, I think he's going to fit in really well. They're going to really appreciate that kid, and he does very little wrong as compared to maybe what Sheduer has shown at times. But Travis is he's a gem. He's a treasure, and they'll be glad they've got him.
Yeah, I definitely love the way that he kind of speaks of the sport. Everything else, it's very short answers, but then whenever you talk about his childhood, how he got into the sport in the first place, you can tell this kid is all football.
Yeah, he's a unicorn, no question. And I saw him, first time I ever saw him in person. It was a Friday practice in the spring. And I'd seen video of, when I was watching the video, Deion hadn't put numbers on the jerseys yet, so I didn't know who I was watching. But I knew one guy, and that was Travis Hunter, because he did things that I just hadn't seen anybody do regularly. And he's just on the sideline catching balls, and I've never seen an athlete like that. Never seen a skill player with that kind of body ability and everything that goes with it. He was just incredible, and I just hope he stays healthy, because he's, like I said, a treasure for somebody.
So you see, played elite last year. There's no doubt about that. And the amount of snaps, I'm really not expecting to see the amount of snaps that he had there at Colorado. But if you were to place him on an NFL roster, Coach, where would you list it? Cornerback first or wide receiver first? You tell me, Coach.
Well, I think it's hard to find a lockdown corner that he can do.
Yeah.
And the difference would be, to me, the biggest difference for him going to the pro level is that everything's more complicated. The offense is more complicated. The defense is more complicated than what he played in. And so how can he go play both positions, but only one of them mostly, and still be able to make the transition? So as I look at that, I see it that, he could probably play on offense very regularly, and then on defense, be a nickel lockdown corner, can go over and play in man situations where there isn't so many complicated zone schemes and cut schemes that they play. So I would just lean towards offense, but you don't find very many people with the ability he has on defense either. I mean, I saw him make 3 interceptions in man coverage when the ball was thrown to somebody else's man. And he somehow intuitively found a way to go intercept that ball.
Coach, I want you to repeat that last part of that sentence right there, just to make sure. So you said he intercepted a ball from another guy who was covering that guy.
I saw him 3 times in man coverage intercept the ball when it was thrown to another receiver. And it wasn't his man.
That's wild.
So he just knew. He just says when that ball's in the air, it belongs to him. And he had read enough done enough route reading to where he knew the possibilities, and he was probably ready for it. But geez, he was in man coverage.
Now, here's the thing that I think comes into play the most is he is a wide receiver. He knows how the quarterback's eyes will work. And for being a cornerback as well, I think that he takes advantage of that. But, Coach, there was also 2 other Colorado Buffaloes getting drafted, of course, a little bit later on. But it's 2 wide receivers. Talk a little bit about, what Deion Sanders is really pushing for with these players, because so far it's been offensive heavy.
Yeah, it has been. And but he's a defensive guy, too. But yeah. I think probably he sees it from the defensive side, and that the guys that are hard to cover are the really fast guys. And both the 2 guys that went, Jimmy Horn and LeJohntay Wester, are fast. I mean, they are quick and fast. They're not big. And if they were bigger, they were bigger-bodied kids, they would have gone earlier. But they are fast. And that's what Deion has done. He's put a bunch of really fast kids in there. Now, what he's realizing is he needs to find a tight end and play with a tight end, because he cannot protect his quarterback with a run game until he gets one. And that's where he goes back and forth. And so we've had a couple of tight ends come in and then go out because they just, 1, they don't see the ball, and 2, in the end, Deion wants to play with 4 wideouts or 5 wideouts and a quarterback is what he wants to do. And I think as a defensive player himself, that's how he saw the difficulties of playing defense, is when you got 5 fast guys or 4 fast guys out there, and you got to have somebody of equal speed to cover each one of them. And so I think he sees the game from that perspective.
So this spring, by the way, Coach, has been harder than any other spring in terms, at least in my opinion, of deciphering what teams look like. And there is obviously a lot gone off of this 9-win Buffalo team last year. And did y'all even have a spring game back on the 19th? Was it an actual game, Coach?
Well, it was. It was a pretty good scrimmage. And, it was probably 60 snaps, 50 snaps live. And it was pretty good. We had 1 guy get banged up, but we had enough. But we're a completely different team without Sheduer right now. I can tell you that. We've got 2 guys that we're trying to. One guy's a transfer from Liberty, Caden Salter, who if it's not open, he's gone. You're chasing him. Well, Sheduer would find a way to make a play. He would, get out of the pocket. He would move around. He'd find a way to get the ball thrown. And then the other kid is really going to be a great player. Juju's going to be a great player, and it's Lewis. And he's just got to learn the game. He's just
young.
He's 17 years old. I think he went to prom this weekend. So he's got to learn how to play the game at that level.
Just seems like these kids are getting younger. I got to admit.
Julian Lewis, who a coach is speaking of right there. And that was a big get there for Deion as well. And I mean, the questions, you mentioned it right out of the gate on whether or not Deion can coach. I don't think there's any question of what I've seen, Coach. You tell me what you've seen around the program on how Deion has adapted to the Big 12.
Deion would say, I don't adapt to them, they adapt to me. And I think that's the way he runs his program. He really doesn't care about what's going on in the Big 12. And he wants to be adapted to. So that's why he trades players every portal. We have no idea. I quit writing names down for guys that were in the spring game because I'm not going to see them again. So, the day after the game, he lists all the positions that he needs to fill. And so if you're in those positions on the team right now, you're probably packing your bag. So he's just got a different way of doing it. And, we were in a dark hole when he came in, and we're on the, we're mentioned by every sports talk show in the country, and you can just see what's happened to us over the last year and a half or 2 years.
Finally, Coach.
Can't pay for that.
That's true. Finally, Coach, my last question to you. If Sheduer is a stock, are you buying Sheduer stock in the National Football League?
I am. And I'm a quarterback guy, and I've been around him for 2 years now. And I haven't seen – he is a tough dude. He can throw the ball wherever he needs to be thrown. He's 94 sacks, and you can say he held the ball. Yes, he did, but he was trying to make plays. Yeah. He had no help in the offensive line and no running game. You realize our leading rusher over 2 years that he was there was 300 yards. So he had no help in that aspect. And so I'm buying stock in Sheduer. I really am.
Well, Coach, we like to hear that, especially me, because I'm a Cleveland Browns fan.
Well, there's two of you out there somewhere.
Yeah, well, they're both working at the station, so there you are.
That's fantastic.
But, Coach, appreciate your time. Let the people know where they can find your work and follow Colorado Buffaloes football.
Yeah, right. What are you doing this summer? Are you going on vacation? You going somewhere overseas?
We do a big family vacation. We're going to Rosemary Beach this year in Florida, and we've got about 12 or 14 of us, and we all go somewhere. So we're going to do that and play golf, and practice starts on the 1st of August. So that's where I'll be. You can find me in August. But Mark Johnson and I have a great time, and so it's coming up on another year faster than I can imagine.
All right, Coach.
Thank you, Coach. Appreciate the time, sir.
All right, guys. Great being with you.
That is Coach Gary Barnett from the Buffalo. Yeah, he's playing a vacation. Because listen, I knew he wasn't. Even if he has a Twitter account, which I don't know if he has one or not.
I couldn't find it.
No, you guys. I just knew social media wise. Hey, what's your Instagram account? That's probably.
I really just wanted to know where I would be able to listen to him. Do they got an app? We got an app.
I'm sure. I think the Buffaloes are part of Learfield, so it's on the Varsity app. The Varsity app, where you can listen to Alabama and so many other, including Colorado. But yeah, he's going to buy stock in Sheduer. I think long term, there is real potential there for Sheduer.
It's not just going to simmer out. That's what I'm going to see. I don't think this hype train is just going to disappear. I think,
but in classic Cleveland Browns form, they're going to let him develop, and he'll be a Jet or something and take him to the Super Bowl.
No, that's only happened once. Every other quarterback just sucked, and we still got him in the first round. Either way, we're taking a break. We'll be right back here on 97.7 ESPN The Zone, ESPN Winchester, and WZZN TV.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. AI-powered betting models to help you make sharper picks during March Madness. Free 7-day trial available now at rhythm.com. That's RITHMM.com.
Atlanta Braves on the road to the Colorado Rockies today. Bryce Elder on the mound for Atlanta, $1.75 favorite. Ryan Feltner for the Rockies plus 145, 10.5 over the total. Yesterday, the Braves dropped a 6-4 decision at Arizona as the D-backs snapped a 4-game losing streak. NASCAR yesterday, Austin Cedric wins at Talladega, his third career victory. This week they race at the Texas Motor Speedway. And heading to Texas, the Worth 400, Kyle Larson is a 3-1 favorite to win the Cup Series title. Christopher Bell plus 450. Denny Hamlin is 6-1. Mike Sennett, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Would you call a plumber for a root canal? The same goes for selling your timberland or farm. Choose someone who understands your property and can help you on the front end so you can capitalize on the back end. I am Bo Butler with Southland Realty and Auction. As a guide, I have put many hunters in position to take a shot. It's time for you to take your shot. Let's talk about putting you in position to sell your property. Call me at 256-609-0512. Remember, Bo knows land.
Tom Luganville here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
Are you tired of chasing a roofing contractor to show up on time or even show up at all? I'm Sam Fleming with Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Our motto at Fleming Roofing is we show up. Our goal at Fleming Roofing is to provide the reliable customer service that you deserve. And we have the resources to meet all of your roofing needs, residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. We are manufacturer certified for roof coatings, single ply membranes, and asphalt shingles. Whenever you need a roofing professional you can count on, call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We are committed to finding the solution that meets your needs. We don't have quotas or heavy-handed sales tactics. Fleming Roofing, we have expert experience. We show up. Free estimates, residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. Check us out at FlemingHSV.com. FlemingHSV.com. When you need a quick response, it's Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
Organizations using Salesforce know how powerful the platform is and how much time, money, and headaches it saves if it's set up right and you know how to use it. Let's face it, Salesforce is complicated and time-consuming to figure out, and a lot can go wrong now and down the road without expert help. That's why most Salesforce users work with an implementation partner like Higher Echelon, so they get the absolute most out of their Salesforce investment. Higher Echelon is a 5-star Salesforce consulting partner who won Salesforce Military Hiring Partner of the Year. President Dr. Joe Ross is retired Army who played and later coached for the cadets. He puts that experience to good use at Higher Echelon, where they pride themselves on hiring veterans. Look, not all Salesforce partners are the same. Don't put your company at risk by going with an inferior partner. Higher Echelon is the trusted partner you can count on to get you up and running and seeing returns on your Salesforce investment in a fraction of the time it would take if you'd go it alone. Go to higherechelon.com. That's HIGHERECHELON.com to learn more. Go higher and go Army.
This will turn journalism on its ear.
Watch our stream on WZZN TV on Twitch and YouTube.
But you are the greatest hero in American history.
We are 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Go ahead. It's a little bit more lively than usual, huh, Steve? I know. You'd think that the late night, program.
I really wonder if Brian Temple's going to play this stuff tomorrow and the next day. So Joe Hunk is out all week, and so when Brian Temple comes in tomorrow, I'm going to be listening. I'm going to be listening in a big, big way because I doubt
Brian jams out with us all the time. Come on. Hatsune Miku sang this at a concert once. You don't know anything of what I just said.
Were those words that you just spoke right there?
Even Joe wouldn't understand that fully, and he loves the Japanese, at least Japanese baseball. The Titans added on yet another Miami player in the form of Xavier Restrepo. So, there you go. It was the top target for Cam Ward whenever he was in Miami. I think that's a great pickup. You have that combination. It'll help him ease in a little bit more. And Crimson Carl, I know you're calling my phone. Call the station.
How does he have your cell phone number?
Oh, we'll talk about it in a little
256-576-4977, Crimson Carl.
That's how you can get in on the show. And if you want to also get in on the deals.
There you go, Crimson Carl. You're good. The deals that John is speaking of, you head over to our website, 977ESPN.com. Click on the upper left-hand banner, which reads, "Savings never tasted so good." And away you go. In fact, I have secured a couple from Carrabba's Italian Grill from over the weekend. Also, you got Bigfoot Little Donuts out there as well. So there's plenty to enjoy there in the Big Zone deals. So That, and also I wanted to get into a couple of obscure things because I enjoy just flipping around. See, I am still a dinosaur and have a DirecTV account, and still I flip around. This is why I end up watching African League basketball. I watched Basketball African League on Sunday. It's called Ball. Basketball African League. It's called The Ball.
At least nobody's getting confused. They're just balling out.
They are.
African ball.
And then I ended up watching the Knick game, and boy, I don't know if you saw the end of the Pistons-Knicks game. And listen, I know you're not probably an NBA guy. I'm talking to Bandy right now more than anything.
Yeah, Bandy.
But nonetheless,
his ears perked up right then.
The Knicks won it 94-93. The reason I'm mentioning this is because the very last play of the game was controversial.
Robinson goes for a block. Turns to get an opportunity to get a putback. Cunningham driving, pull-up jumper. No good. Harris fouling. Loose ball on the floor. Kicked up Hardaway. 2 seconds left. Puts up a shot. No. And the game is over. J.B. Bickerstaff is on the floor. And right. He thought there should have been a foul called on the Hardaway shot. Call on Josh Hart here against Hardaway.
So that last shot should have been a foul call, to the point the head official spoke to the media afterwards. I said the head official spoke to the media. College football fans, it is okay for us to hear from officials after games. The NBA said they got it wrong. All right. It is okay for college football fans, me included, to want to hear from officials on whether or not they got it right or wrong. It's okay.
They're human too.
It's okay.
It'll happen. It's a little bit more transparent, and we love it.
By the way, 3-1 is a whole lot different than 2-2 in a series. That's a big win for the Knicks.
We'll be back.
By now, you know about Eagle Masonry and Insulation, and maybe you know that Eagle also does landscaping and dirt work. But how about after paint work? Shower doors, shelving, and mirrors, all taken care of by Eagle, the same Eagle that takes care of all your masonry, insulation, and landscaping needs. Eagle brings the same level of expertise to all these disciplines, and they're ready to provide you with a free quote. The website is the same, insulatewitheagle.com, as is the phone number, 256-755-1556. Give them a call and see what Eagle can do for you. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
Have you discovered Good Company Cafe? The place for breakfast, brunch, lunch, and so much more. Enjoy brunch all day and pair with one of our many seasonal refreshing drinks, including alcoholic and non-alcoholic options. Choose inside or outside on our gorgeous, spacious, dog-friendly patio and have some fun with friends playing yard games in the courtyard. See catering, to-go options, and lots more at goodcompany-cafe.com. Good Company Cafe, 7500 South Memorial Parkway.
Now, it's time for your Atlanta Braves morning update, presented by Tidal Wave Auto Spa. Get clean car happy at any of the 250-plus Tidal Wave Auto Spa locations today.
Braves fall in Game 3, but take 2 of 3 from the Snakes. I'm Barrett Salee, and this is your Braves Radio Network morning update.
Get clean car happy all season long at Tidal Wave with exclusive membership discounts, giveaways, and more. Visit TidalWaveAutoSpa.com/Braves for more information.
The Braves fall 6-4 to the Diamondbacks on Sunday, disappointing into a successful series in the desert. A win Friday and a phenomenal performance by everybody associated with Saturday's win over the Diamondbacks. Eugenio Suarez with a 4-home run game. He is just the third person in history to hit 4 home runs in a game in a loss. One of those you might remember, Braves fans, Bob Horner against the Expos in 1986. Cedric Wellenbach got the loss on Sunday, 6 innings, 7 hits, 4 runs, 3 of them earned, 1 walk, and 6 strikeouts. The Braves will head to the Rocky Mountains. They'll take on the Colorado Rockies in the first of 3 tonight. The Braves send Bryce Elder out. He's 0-1, has a 5.57 ERA, 12 strikeouts. Ryan Feltner going for the Rockies. He's 0-1, 3.86 ERA, 21 strikeouts. For leadoff show, 7:25 Eastern, first pitch with Ben and Darren O'Day at 8:40 Eastern time, right here on the Braves Radio Network.
This is Steve Moulton from 97.7 ESPN The Zone, and this is What's Happening. Be sure and download our app. Just search 977 ESPN in your Google Marketplace or your Apple Store, depending on your device, so you can take us wherever you might go. And you can also check out our latest zone deals. Head over to our website, 977ESPN.com. The top left banner reads, "Savings never tasted so good." Click on that, then enter in the big zone deals store for half-off zone deals of Lawler's Barbecue, Sea Salt, Carrabba's Italian Grill, Bubby's Diner, Corlejos Mexican Grill, Bad Daddy's Burger Bar, Divergence, Full Moon Barbecue, Bigfoot Little Donuts, Hickory Store Barbecue, Good Company Cafe, Apple Lane Farms, the Decatur location, and rounds of golf at Cherokee Ridge Golf Course and Gunter's Landing. And that's what's happening.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. AI-powered betting models to help you make sharper picks during March Madness. Free 7-day trial available now at rhythm.com. That's RITHMM.com.
Atlanta Braves on the road to the Colorado Rockies today. Bryce Elder on the mound for Atlanta, $1.75 favorite. Ryan Feltner for the Rockies plus 145, 10.5 over the total. Yesterday, the Braves dropped a 6-4 decision at Arizona as the D-backs snapped a 4-game losing streak. NASCAR yesterday, Austin Cedric wins at Talladega, his third career victory. This week, they race at the Texas Motor Speedway. And heading to Texas, the Worth 400, Kyle Larson is a 3-1 favorite to win the Cup Series title. Christopher Bell plus 450. Denny Hamlin is 6-1. Mike Sennett, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Emily Owen. A warm afternoon expected for this Monday. Expect to see high temperatures reach the low 80s. A small chance of rain and a few thunderstorms expected to develop mainly in the afternoon. Only about a 20 to 30% chance for that, though. Heading into Monday night, temperatures expected to fall into the mid and upper 60s. Will continue to sit under a mostly clear sky. I'm Fox 54 meteorologist Emily Owen on your home for ESPN Radio 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Log on today, 977ESPN.com. Joe Hunk, John Abraham, 256-576-4977. Welcome to the Blitz.
Second hour, final hour, best hour here on the Blitz. John Abraham, Steve Moulton sitting in for Joe Hunk, having a wonderful time.
Cameras are on, right?
Cameras are going.
Wow, this is also different.
Yeah, and this is maybe something you test out a little bit on the drive. I've seen you put on the cameras a little bit more, all right?
I've been focusing more on where we are because I know the guy to my left, not a fan of the camera.
You guys got to eat as well.
I mean,
you're doing a show at dinner time.
He does enjoy dinner, and so listen, it's not as if I don't eat. Occasionally on the air as well.
I think all of our listeners enjoy some dinner.
I'm enjoying a nice beverage at the moment. This is my tumbler, half Braves, half Dogs. Right there.
It's both the color schemes. That A though, I mean, that's the color scheme.
That's my A right there.
Should be baby blue on that.
That's my A right there. Yeah, but the lowercase A.
We'll be talking a little bit
of what your dad calls the pajamas, the wearing pajama pants.
Oh, okay.
Gotcha. Or the pajama jumpsuit, whatever.
He doesn't he? I thought he loves the color. Like the powder blue is like his jam. Like he loves the Titans when they're in their powder blue. He loved the Oilers. Speaking of the Oilers, I'm thinking of Warren Moon. I'm thinking of all these things about Cam Ward wearing number 1. And I mean, I'm going to be honest with you.
You say Oilers. That's another. I was staying up late last night. Edmonton. Edmonton.
Oh yeah,
looked really good. But that series between the Kings and the Oilers. Edmonton looks really good.
Yeah.
And I mean, that was a 4-3 win for Edmonton over the Kings last night. But I know you don't want to talk NHL. I know.
Look, I would love to talk some NHL if I had a team in there. It's been a lot of fun to watch, though.
Do you have an NHL team?
Oh,
is it the Preds?
I've got multiple. No, the Boston Bruins.
Okay, that's your dad.
And the Islanders.
That's right.
That's me, man. That's all me. 100%. The fisherman back in 95 got me there. Regardless, you guys can join in on the show as well. 256-576 or 97.7. Steve, very well adjusted
to the Blitz routine. But you guys could get well adjusted to all of the food that we got over on our big zone at deals, because we were talking about it. Yeah, of course Wes wants to eat, especially when he's at all these great locations like Baumhauer's or Bad Daddy's or any of these other places, because they're also on our big zone deals site.
I captured some Carrabba's from over the weekend, but Bubby's, I'm telling you, but Bubby's is back on the hit parade. Last Monday was our golf outing. That was a week ago today, and they knocked it out of the park. So I've been I've partaken of Bubby's a couple of times since last Monday. There's also Metro Diner, also Full Moon Barbecue, Bigfoot Little Donuts, Apple Lane Farms. That's just a Decatur location there. Also Rounds of Golf to Cherokee Ridge, as well as heading over to Flow Trampoline Park.
It's not just food. You
No,
also
it's not.
can have some fun as well. Did you see? Oh, I want to get into the Talladega conversation because it was a wonderful time. Shout out to Crimson Carl. He was trying to call in the last hour. You can call in on this hour because I'm going to need your help. Because I went to Talladega on Saturday.
Here we go.
It's finally
Here we go.
I came in the shag wagon with the old lady. All right. We went down 2.5 hours. We got there. It was probably around 4 o'clock. All right. And we were just completely lost. We had no idea where to go.
It is a big space.
And it's a zoo. It is wild. It is confusing. You don't know really where to go if it's your first time. I didn't do a lot of.
It was a patch of dirt, I would imagine, that you were parked in.
No, actually, it wasn't. So there's north parking. And then there's also the south parking or the camping.
I've not been to Talladega in easily 15 years.
Oh, you got to get down there again.
And every part of Talladega, at least on the outside around turn 3 and turn 4, kind of near where the tunnel is to go into the infield, was nothing but just big patches of dirt where you pay ungodly amounts of money to park, and then you just walk for seemingly forever.
That's crazy that you had to actually pay to park, because nowadays it's like everything's pretty much free roam, and maybe not everything. There's some obviously closer positions that you probably need to pay for, but for me it was look around, ask around, which I appreciate 97.7 for helping me out with just throwing me on location at any of these stadiums that we go to whenever we get credentialed, because it's a lot of asking. All right. And you're not going to get anywhere if you don't ask and get that help, which is something that Sheduer is going to need to do in the NFL. And also Jalen Milroe. Shout out to the Seahawks, by the way, for drafting him before Sheduer. We didn't expect it.
When I saw that,
we also didn't expect the A&M guy to go before Sheduer either. So let's just be real. But I get there. It's very fun. It's very full already. There's people driving around. There's people that are already out on the north camping that are having a wonderful time. There's a stage up. There's all this crazy stuff. There's beads getting thrown everywhere. We don't go that way. All right. We actually we drive past. We come back. We stop at the Hall of Fame. Get a few pictures of the cars. Bill Elliott, of course, the fastest lap.
That's right.
At Talladega, 215 miles an hour.
That was before the restrictor plate right there.
Like that's NASCAR right there.
Yeah. I remember Awesome Bill saying after that lap that he could feel the car about to take off. That he literally thought that the thing around, I think it was turn 2, is what he said, that he could feel like the thing about to just take off.
Yeah.
I believe it.
I definitely believe that as well, because that's all. Over 200 is insane. The fastest I've ever gone in the car, I'm just gonna be real with you.
Yeah,
155 miles an hour.
Ooh, okay, you got me there.
And that's when you see, like, it's like you're in the Millennium Falcon and you see the stars going by. Like you just can't see things clearly at that point. 200 though, everything's a blur. We finally get set up though. We ask plenty of people. They tell us to go in the right direction. I don't know. We still haven't used the tickets that I bought. So I'm just like completely just like, all right, do I even need tickets? I'm going to be honest. I don't know. I get set up in this camping spot. There's plenty of room. We got neighbors on our right, neighbors on our left. We got these other people who are a little bit older that are just like, we'll act as your parents pretty much. We'll tell you guys the lay of the land.
Okay.
So also we forgot sunscreen. So that's
a minus right there. You look good. I mean, it doesn't look like you got burnt.
Oh, well, there's a reason why, because I'm going to get to that here in a second. Summer, on the other hand, the old lady.
Oh boy.
look, I can
Very
handle
fair skin for those that don't know.
Yeah, she looked like Mr. Krabs after this whole thing.
Mm.
Me on the other hand, I go brown, all right, because I am Italian, that rich Italian blood, and German, by the way, which is something I guess German people also get really tan.
I've got some German blood in me, and I turn into a lobster. Okay,
well, maybe it's the mixture I got. I can handle the elements. I can handle a terrible time. I can handle a wonderful time. All right. Summer, on the other hand, she has no idea what she's getting into. She brings two pairs of boots, some Docs and some cowboy boots that you'd see down in Nashville.
Okay.
They're white.
They're white.
They're white.
They're white.
I told her, I was like,
they're
you
white.
might not want to wear those. It wasn't too wet out there. There were some muddy
Yeah.
spots.
Yeah.
And actually, there were some accidents that happened during the race from some wet spots from the week prior because it was raining quite a bit. So Summer's got blisters. She's getting really hot because it was very hot out there. And then on top of that, I forgot something else that happened.
I couldn't find the race, by the way.
Yeah, it was back on Fox. They keep
flipping
it.
I looked at it on. Maybe I was on the wrong channel.
Could have been. They switch it back and forth from FS1 to Fox, just like all the time.
And then
I just don't
somebody
understand it.
texted me CW, and then I
It's
was
not on
like,
CW yet.
I
I
was
have no
like,
idea.
wow, CW. Score, NASCAR, score.
So we had a wonderful
CW.
night. Talladega, the little boulevard. You walk down that. It was absolutely wild. I may or may not have seen some breastises. I'm just throwing that out there.
No,
that's what you'll get into down there.
No.
All right. There was this concert. There was these country singers. We met a bunch of people that became our friends. We got a bunch of drinks. We had a wonderful time. It was wonderful. It was a party. It was probably the most insane night of my life. Then we go to sleep. And let me tell you, it was a wonderful sleep. I fell asleep like a rock. I was gone. I was out. And I wake up at 5 o'clock. Actually, I wake up multiple times because our neighbors get back at 2 o'clock because I
There
went to
you go.
sleep at a responsible time, 11. All right. Look, all right.
But it's Talladega.
It's Talladega. I still get tired. I'm on a
Well,
totally different clock than Talladega. I get back. I wake up at 2. Somebody turns the lights on. Literally, somebody has their high beams right on the shag wagon. It's very bright.
No curtains on the shag
We
wagon.
had curtains too, and it was insane how lit it got inside of the shag wagon. Not that way.
Not that.
The next day comes, the race right around the corner. We're waiting around. It gets to 11. We start walking around near the experiences. We see the cars. We see the groups of people who are coming from different colleges that do their own racing events. Alabama has their own racing club.
Oh, really?
And I got a picture of that as well. I'll be posting it on my social media later. But then Summer couldn't hang. Summer was sitting down. She wasn't feeling too good. She was wobbling in her shoes because she was getting
The white
blisters.
shoes.
She was wearing the white shoes. She was getting the little blisters. I know how that feels. Very uncomfortable.
Yeah, it's not good.
But she also didn't drink enough water.
Oh no.
And
there is water in beer. So
there is a little bit, but it'll dehydrate you before it gets you more hydrated. So she experiences a little bit of heat exhaustion.
No.
And around 11 o'clock, I don't even get to walk to any of these booths and spend all my money. I get 2 pizzas from this Pizza Hut stand. I'm like, this will make you feel better. Drink water, eat some food, get something solid inside of you. And then it got to the point where she had to call it quits, and I didn't experience the race in person.
No.
So that's why I'm not a lobster or I am tan. And you know what? It's totally fine. We got the experience. We got down there. It was wonderful. We have the lay of the land now. So next time we go, we're experiencing the whole thing. We're not going to leave. Summer understands now that drinking water probably more important than drinking beer. So we did both. So
I did not obviously see a single lap of this race yesterday, but I've just have been out of touch with NASCAR really over the last decade. And Talladega was a big deal when I first moved here to the state.
Look,
big deal.
It was crowded. The entire grandstand was full. All right. There is a select group of people, a lot of people that still really love the sport. I understand why some people have fallen out of love with it. Of course, the racers have changed throughout the year. The cars have changed throughout the year. The rules have changed. but there
is Mark Martin still racing?
No, he does not. I think he's probably in a booth somewhere. But it is still a very fun environment. The people are great, even though it seems a little bit at times. All the people are very nice. You don't see anything without a little bit of consent and then having, just a wonderful time.
Well,
it was a really good experience. Crimson Carl is probably going to need to help me out, though, with telling us a little bit more about how the race actually went inside of the track. I ended up watching it at home, though, with AC. Very comfortable.
So it was on Fox? It was on Fox?
It was on Fox.
Okay.
Yes, it was.
Gotcha.
Next week in Texas, it will be back on FS1, though, to show you how confusing they want to make it for you. And then it's not even going to be on Fox halfway through the season.
Something that NASCAR did back in the day that I really liked was it was always Sunday at 1. Sunday at 1, there was no wiggle room. You would have that occasional night race at Daytona, I think, but it was always Sunday at 1, Sunday at 1. It was very dependable of just you knew exactly. Now they're moving it around all over the place. But the other thing is I was listening to the press conference for the winner.
These racers ain't built like they used to be.
I'm telling you that this is not Alan Kulwicki talking to me. This is not David Pearson talking to me post game. Talk
We're
to
going
me.
to go ahead and wrap up our media
Yeah,
availability
wrap it up
tonight with our race winner, Austin Cindric. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Tell us about your race.
We finally finished one of these, so that was cool. No, I mean, just to be able to win at this track or win in the Cup Series. I mean, it's such a challenging thing to do, and a total team effort. Every step of the way for that final stage for us to be able to get that done, and for that to go green there at the end, and have a car capable, a team capable, all the things, and have it all come together. It's really gratifying. It's definitely a relief given how a lot of these have gone, and it doesn't make me any special or different. These things go up in flames for most. So just super grateful for the opportunity to be able to come through with a win.
I mean,
yeah. I mean, these guys, these are younger dudes. They care about a little bit more of the metrics.
Do I dare say nerd alert right there?
Oh, he is a nerd.
I mean,
he is a nerd. He wears the glasses under the helmet. Come on now. This is a good old fashioned nerd.
Well, a little nerd alert action going on right there. This is as much NASCAR that I've talked about, honestly, in the last 15 years. And John didn't even stick around for the race itself there on Sunday. There you go. That's a little NASCAR audio for you. I would tell you where the boys are headed to next, but I have no idea.
Texas. Let's get. I want to get with Crimson Carl real quick.
Come on,
because he was.
Come on.
He was actually experiencing the race. He didn't get the night before, but he got the race. So Crimson Carl, how you doing, man? Glad to finally have you call in.
All right, how y'all doing?
Good.
Wonderful.
I'm still a little. I didn't drink water either, and I guess that's why when I was laying in bed, my legs kept cramping up. But, it was
mustard packets.
It was a very good time. I took my son and my nephew and my grandchild, so we had 4 generations there, and that was a good day for me.
Very nice.
But the race itself, my guy Kyle Busch trying to get onto pit road got spun around, so that kind of ruined my day a little bit. But
yeah, I know you're a Kyle Busch fan.
You're a Kyle Busch fan?
Easy. But the Xfinity, well, the Busch races are on the WC.
CW.
No.
Yeah, the CW. Yeah.
Okay.
The Xfinity races are on that, and but it was a great time, and like John said, that it's everybody's just so polite, and it's just a good time.
Yeah, no, it really is.
Good
man.
way to spend a day.
Yeah, and I very much appreciate you, man, for getting me to Talladega in the first place, because even though I didn't get to experience the race, there wasn't a big one, so I can't say that I really missed out, but at the same time,
there wasn't a big one.
It wasn't a big one, and
No.
it'll come next time they go. So it was fun.
But yeah, hey man, I hate you didn't catch the Sunday race, but I completely understand what happened because it's kind of, when you first get there, it's just so huge, and the euphoria is something special. And but I appreciate y'all speaking with me.
Absolutely.
I appreciate you, Crimson Carl, very much so. Again, he was the reason I got the ability to even go to the race. He came into contact with me with the tickets.
We are a radio station that covers events. If you
I could go again?
If you'd like to cover the fall race.
Get me on that list, please.
Okay.
I forgot who I'm talking to.
I've got the...
Can I get 2?
I don't know about that.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
No, you know what? Just give me one. I'll deal with the second one. That's what I'll do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe you could fill out another credential request from a station in Winchester.
Ooh. I don't know, man. That'd be a sticky situation. I'll spend the money for the ticket, but I will go with the credential.
Okay.
Get me on that list. We got to take
Yeah,
a break because when we get back, Anthony Dasher from UGAsports.com is going to be joining us.
Come on now.
Yeah, Steve's going to love this. I'm glad I got him on for it. And hey, you know what? They led the SEC with draft picks, so that's something to talk about when we get back here on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
I'm here with Thomas from Talent Heating and Air. With the temperatures going up and temperatures going down right now is a good time to get your heating and air system looked at. Thomas, when somebody calls, you guys answer.
That's right. The phones are staffed by us. They're manned 24/7. We're ready to come out and take care of you that day.
How do they give you guys a call?
You give us a call at 256-503-4490.
And you can find you guys on the World Wide Web at
talenthvac.com.
And now is a good time to do this because you guys are offering a special deal.
That's right. We're doing $49 tune-ups this spring. We're also doing free second opinions. We offer that year-round. Somebody comes out, they say you got a back compressor, a leaking refrigerant. Give us a call, see if we can save you some money.
Thomas from Talent Heating and Air. Thomas, one more time, that phone number.
256-503-4490.
AL certain number 21014.
Uh-oh, Brad's buzzed. Oh, yeah? Yeah, he's starting with the woots. And now a speech.
I just want to say that friendship is about heart and brain. Who's with me?
Good thing is, he knows when he's buzzed.
And my brain is saying, when it's time to go home, somebody call me a ride.
Love that guy.
Me too. Know your buzzed warning signs? Call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
I don't think that many kids in my son's school even do it.
He makes fun of his friend who vapes.
He would never try it.
She's in his arm. She's on the honor roll. She's just not the
No way.
No way. No way.
No way. My kid would never vape.
Get your head out of the cloud. Today, nearly 8,000 kids will start vaping. Maybe even yours. Learn about the dangers at talkaboutvaping.org.
I'm here with Stan McDonald of Jacob Title. Stan, I've heard that every real estate closing at Jacob Title is a very big deal. Why is that?
Wes, I'm reminded of a very impactful statement that I heard from Coach Gene Stallings years ago when he talked about big games and little games. He said he didn't like that comparison. He says, because try losing one of those little games. And if you ever do, it ends up being the biggest game all year long. Well, it's the same thing with real estate closings. Every game, every closing is a very big deal at Jacob Title. Because when it's your closing and your contract on the line, it's a very big deal. And we understand that at Jacob Title.
So it sounds like whether your client is a first-time residential buyer or a multi-million-dollar investor, they can expect your A game.
That's exactly right. As a matter of fact, when you bring your real estate closing to us at Jacob Title, we understand it's all about trust and confidence. And when Stan McDonald tells you that a chicken dips snuff, you can look under his wing for the box.
And like Beebs likes to say, there's no doubt about it.
Specializing in simple and affordable rentals, McCurry Van and Car Rental can make sure you have just the right vehicle for your next family vacation, weekend getaway, or if you just need transportation while your vehicle is being repaired. McCurry carries Ford Transit vans and Mercedes Sprinter vans, trucks and work vans, and more. And they offer discounted rental rates for long-term rentals. Now with 4 locations: Athens, Muscle Shoals, Coleman, and Huntsville. Log on McCurryRentals.com to make your reservation now. That's McCurryRentals.com. Football season and Bad Daddy's Burger Bar. The perfect combination of good times and great food. This season, score big with one of our chef-inspired expressions of pure burger amazingness. Our delicious burgers are made with premium Angus beef, and you can pair it with one of our signature cocktails or a cold craft beer from our huge selection. Bad Daddy's Burger Bar on the Parkway in Huntsville and our new location at Cliff Farm, Highway 72 in Madison.
I'm more of a Tupac guy than I am a Biggie guy.
Biggie deserves some love too.
I mean, you're playing it, but you didn't ask.
Look, I'm not the one that has control over this. It's just kind of going. I could change it, but
hey, boy, it's a shame that one of us is behind a board and the other one, well, I'm behind another board over here. But
I thought I'd be over there. I'm gonna be honest. You're
gonna be over here tomorrow.
I thought I was gonna be over there today too, but you know what's totally fine. We both have the ability to do.
You could have asked.
The desk.
You could have asked me.
No, it's fine. I got to stay fresh on the board over here. I got Tom Abraham show coming up after this as well. Look forward to that. By the way, you can also look forward to a nice roof that'll withstand the elements in the form of Fleming.
There's been a lot of elements around here lately.
Fleming Roofing and Restoration are the guys you need to talk to about all of your roofing needs. If you're having any roofing problems, make sure you look them up online at FlemingHSV.com. They got you covered when it comes to the weather. Anthony Dasher's got us covered when it comes to the Bulldogs, and we head out to Georgia to talk a little bit about the Bulldogs in the draft, as well as whether or not we maybe would have saw even more if one quarterback, Carson Beck, maybe jumped into the draft instead of moved to Miami. But that's besides the point. Anthony, how are you doing today, man?
Great.
That's good to hear, man. 13 Georgia Bulldogs picked in the 2025 draft. Just talk about how big that is for Georgia to continue to put out these players at this quantity.
Yeah, that's kind of been the story of the last, really since Kirby has been there, but especially the last 3 or 4 seasons. 13 is a big number, and it just kind of goes back to the recruiting. And you see all these recruiting, rankings whenever they come out. Georgia, they haven't been number 1. They've been in the top 5, and it's all about the Jimmies and Joes. And same thing, obviously, with the NFL as in college. And Georgia, Kirby has brought in great players. The NFL has taken notice.
Well, Anthony, to that point, I mean, if you were listening to Kirby last year, I was wondering if a Georgia player was going to get drafted. But at the same time, it did kind of harken back to they mentioned about the 21 team. That's the only other team that had more draft picks. Was this the second most talented team that Kirby has had while at Georgia?
Yeah, I would probably say that's correct. I forget what the stat was that Brent Rollins had. I think it was of the 38 guys who played in the 2021 national title game, 31 of them got drafted.
Wow.
That is just amazing. I mean, you sit back and think about that, and that's a crazy number. I don't know. Again, I'm sure there have been other great programs in the conference. I'm sure Alabama has has some similar type ratios there, but that kind of blew me away. I never would have dreamed, even thought about that. Even after obviously been there and watched that as those teams, develop and ultimately, win that title, I never would have thought that would be the case.
Wow, that's a little mind blowing, honestly. But I know certain key positions are thinner than they have been in the past. Defensive line in particular. I want to get your thoughts on how much contact did you have with the football team this spring, Anthony?
Oh, well, a good bit. I mean, that's
yeah.
And defensive line, that is one of the position. I know, there wasn't a lot of. Well, of course, they had a couple of guys. Terry and Dawkins went to the Vikings, and Warren Brinson went late to the Packers, and Dezir Stackhouse wound up going as a free agent. I thought he might have gotten picked, but he didn't. But yeah, that wasn't Michael Williams played defensive end / jack linebacker. Big loss there, but I think defensive line as a whole was probably not up to par with what it's been in the past, and I think it was kind of reflected in the draft just a little bit anyway.
Well, also as a Falcon fan, right out of the gate, I was so happy to hear a certain dog putting on a Falcon jersey right out of the gate.
Man, first time that's ever happened, man. And
is it really?
The history of the Falcons, franchise. Yeah, for those who don't know, the Atlanta Falcons, until they took Jalen Walker, have never taken a Georgia Bulldog in the first 2 rounds of the NFL draft. Oh, wow. That program came into existence in 1966.
Mm-hmm.
That's just crazy. And yeah, it was kind of funny. I was covering the Georgia Oklahoma baseball game while the draft was going on that night, and Jalen's name kept falling back in the draft. I was like, wouldn't that be funny now if he wound up going to the Falcons? And everybody's like, no, it's never going to happen. The Falcons never take Georgia players. But man, when he was sitting there at number 15, it was like, I was just like a no-brainer. I mean, we all know what the Falcons' weaknesses were last year on defense, and Jalen definitely checks all those boxes.
Was he a day one starter for the Falcons, you think?
I would think so. Yeah, no doubt about that. Unless there's some kind of injury situation for him that we don't know about. Yeah, I think Jalen can play again. Can play inside. Can play outside. He's a 3-down player, man. He can go out there and get after it.
Yeah, and tell us a little bit about who you kind of equate Jalen Walker to when it comes to the NFL, because of course it's a different thing. College football players, they're kind of getting adjusted to it now with all of this money that gets thrown around. But at the end of the day, there's still college football players playing against college football players. Now Jalen Walker got to kind of adjust to the NFL. Talk about who you relate him to when it comes to this level.
Oh, man, I'm not sure if I'm the best one to answer that, because I'll be quite frank with you, man. I watch more college football than I do NFL.
Gotcha. Amen, brother. Preach it.
But honestly, I think there's some similarities actually with him and Roquan Swift to a little bit. I mean, Jalen's a much more physical player than I think people want to give him credit for. Sometimes they look at the speed and look at what he can do as an edge rusher. But I think him and Roquan have a lot of similar traits. And obviously, both coming from Georgia, learning under Kirby Smart. I think that would be my comparison. But again, he's a guy who just great work ethic, and that's cliche and all that kind of thing. But these guys going to go to the Falcons and really give 110%.
So I mentioned spring a little bit. What were your big takeaways of what you saw out of the Dogs this spring, Anthony?
Yeah, it's so hard to tell sometimes. I think it's a younger team. I'll say that. I think what was the number? I did some research on that. Kind of count. I think they had like 49 players on the team who were either freshmen or redshirt freshmen. So this is the youngest team that Kirby Smart has had. So that's probably my biggest takeaway. I mean, rest of them. I mean, they've got like 49, freshmen, redshirt freshmen. The rest of those guys are sophomores through seniors. So it's going to be a younger team, but and I think most coaches are looking at it maybe kind of scared to death. But I think in a way, maybe strange warped way, Kirby's actually kind of excited about that, because you get a lot of guys who've been in the program a long time. Sometimes you get complacent. Maybe they got a few more guys, or maybe a little more hungry now, but maybe even were at some point. So in the season, last year. But I like receivers they've got. I think the receiving core can be one of the better ones they've had in a few years. Some of the guys they've brought in for the portal, and a couple of freshmen. C.J. Wiley and Talling Taylor. I think have a chance to make some big impressions as a first-year guy. But for Georgia, it's going to have to start up front on both lines of scrimmage. Just Georgia was terrible running the ball last year. What next to last in the SEC in average yards, yards per game, and that's an area that just has to get better. If not, I mean, Georgia's going to have some of the same issues, if not more, than they did last season. That was the two focal points: getting the offensive line, defensive front, kind of short up a little bit, and getting those guys playing like Georgia fans expect them to be playing.
I think you know where I'm about to go, because Bobo has turned into a 4-letter word yet again in the state of Georgia. I don't know. He is the punching bag around that program yet again, Anthony.
Yeah. Him and Stacey Searles, I think they could have a Duncan Booth and Athens, and I think they could raise a lot of money for NIL. So, it's just somebody's got to be blamed, right? I mean, anytime something goes wrong, it's always the coach's fault. So, but I'm curious to see what happens though here in a couple of weeks if the quarterback Curtis, the 5-star guy, winds up committing to UGA, and I'm sure you'll see a lot more people show a lot more love to Bobo, and the same thing for Searles when they got that big offensive tackle that's down between Georgia and Oregon right now. Hearing some good things about Georgia and him right in a second. So we'll see how people's opinions change here over the next couple of weeks.
I want to know a little bit more about the quarterback in actual play right now. Gunnar Stockton, of course.
Yeah.
He's the kind of the guy, but at the same time, there's a little bit more love going towards Puglisi as well. Talk about that quarterback competition in that room.
Yeah, well, I still think this is Gunner's job to lose. I mean, he's going to have to go out and ball and just really kind of screw it up, I think, because the players, they really support this guy. I mean, you guys saw it in the SEC title game, what happened when he came in, how charged up that sideline became.
No doubt.
And really, I'm not sure Georgia wins that game if Carson comes back and plays the second half. I'm really not. Just the energy just wasn't there the first half of that ball game. But when Gunner came in, man, it switched. And that's pretty typical of how they feel about the guy now. They're willing to, run through that proverbial brick wall for the guy. And I know there's still questions about Gunner. I mean, he hasn't done it full season. And I know that's legitimate. I mean, we don't know. But, he did play well in the second half of that SEC title game against Texas. And I thought he gave a good account of himself, in the Sugar Bowl against, Notre Dame. Now, he was sacked, I think, 5 times. I mean, that's one of the issues we've talked about with the offensive line, and one of the areas they've really got to improve. But I think Gunner will be fine. I mean, people worry about his delivery. Some say it's too slow or this, that, and the other. But he's the guy who's going to bring a little more, I think, athleticism to the position. I mean, not saying he's a burner by any stretch. He's not. I mean, SEC defensive linemen and linebackers are going to be able to do just fine, I think, as far as controlling him with a run. But again, he can do more things than Carson to a certain extent. And he throws the ball better, has a better arm than what people want to give him credit for. So I think George will be fine with him. I mean, again, there's going to be some adjustments. I mean, him being the guy now, there's going to be more pressure that comes along with that. But like I said, the team supports this guy 100%. And that's the one I think they're going to go with.
Yeah, I kind of relate him to Bryson Daly in a little bit. Less of course, the passing, because obviously we see passing out of Stockton. But the build, he's stocky. He's got a will to run. And, I mean, the one thing it seems like he does need to kind of figure out, I would say, is his decision-making and, of course, being more comfortable in the pocket.
Yeah, no doubt about that. Again, that kind of the quarterback hasn't really played a ton. I mean, that'll come with experience, I would think. And, but like you said, I mean, that hit he took in the SEC title game when he got popped there by the safety and popped right back up. And I thought the guy was killed. I thought he was dead. I'm serious. That was a brutal of a hit for a quarterback I've seen in a long time. But the guy jumped right back up and was able to keep going. So, but yeah, it's going to be some growing pains. I mean, he's going to have to go on the road. I mean, what's it like? It's going to be like his first true road game, which I guess is going to be the game up in Knoxville. That's going to be quite the test for a guy making it in his first season as a full-time starter. So we're learning a lot about Gunner Stockton in that game.
That's September 13th, by the way, for those of you scoring at home there up in Neyland. But as for Kirby himself, he's been a bit more outspoken, Anthony, and especially surrounding the NIL world, and we're all dealing with this on some level. Him being as outspoken and as poignant, especially this spring, has that surprised you at all, Anthony?
Maybe a little bit, but Kirby is kind of seen now since Coach Saban has just stepped aside from the coaching field. Kirby is now seen by a lot of people as one of the top 2 or 3 guys, however you want to rank him in the game right now. And I think with that comes maybe a little bit of responsibility as far as kind of speaking out, kind of being that voice for the game, because that's something Kirby Smart wants most of all, is just the best for the sport.
Yeah,
I mean, you're talking about NIL, but also he's just for players. He wants as many players possible to have opportunities to play college football, and improve their lives and do all that kind of thing. So I think, I think there's a reason he's been more outspoken, because again, I think he's seen as quote unquote leader of the coaching fraternity right now, based off the success he's had in the past few years. I think he's just trying to maybe live up to that a little bit.
And that, and also the questions he's getting as well surrounding the health of the sport. And you mentioned, we heard this a lot from Nick Saban in the past. Yeah. It really feels like he is taking that leadership role and trying to run with it as best he can, not just as an SEC sitting head coach, but as a football guy through and through.
Yeah, I think so. Although I don't think you ever hear Kirby admit that, I think he kind of sees it that way. I mean, I think he feels he does have a certain responsibility to kind of help the sport grow, help try to maybe lead the sport to what's obviously the most crazy time we've ever seen in college football. It's a different game right now, and I think he wants the sport to be as strong as he can. But at the same time, he'd be fair to the players and all that kind of thing. But I think he just feels a responsibility to be trying to do more.
Anthony Dasher from UGAsports.com. And Anthony, we were talking a little bit about the running back room last year. And we see this plenty times where there's players that transfer over and they find success. I'm looking at Cam Ward. Hopefully we might see, I don't know if it's a hopeful thing, but with Carson Beck going to Miami, maybe there's something there. But for a guy like Trevor Etienne, who did get picked in the draft, he comes over from Florida. Do you think this was a success when it comes to a transfer portal move, or do you think that maybe staying in Florida for him would have possibly helped out his draft stock?
I think Carson would have been picked. I mean, I don't, after what all happened with Sheduer Sanders, I don't. Of course, that's a different deal altogether.
Yeah.
I think you'll see. I think you'll see Carson go in the second or third round if he had gone right on in. So I'm not sure. Unless he just has it fully in his mind that he can be a first round guy, which I guess he can go out and have a strong year at Miami. But we'll see. That's one of those we won't know the answer to that at this time. Next year. But I do think, as far as George is concerned, it was probably a good thing that he moved on. Again, I don't want to say Carson Ward is welcome. It wouldn't be fair to me to say that, but I think it was just time for another quote unquote voice under center at quarterback for Georgia this fall.
Well, how do you feel about the Trevor Etienne? How do you think his draft stock might have helped or plummeted coming to Georgia after his time with Florida?
Yeah, I think it helped. I mean, of course, he was hurt so much this year, missing 4 or 5 games, just never really 100%. So I mean, and I think that's probably a bigger reason for him going ahead and leaving right now than anything. I mean, shelf life for running backs, that everybody knows it for 3 or 4 years in the NFL, and he probably felt it was his best to go ahead. And that's about where I thought he would go. I didn't see him as a second round pick. Even though I think he's a guy who can do some different things. I think he's a very good receiver out of the backfield. Is an effective runner. I think he'll have a good career in the pros.
And you kind of need that in the NFL now. Wide receiver, running back combination. So who knows? He might find even more success as he makes the transition. Steve?
Let's move over to the baseball diamond. And this is a lot of fun to watch this team this year. But what impresses you most about this Georgia baseball team, Anthony?
Oh, well,
to me, it's the arms, but I wanted to get your thoughts.
Yeah, well, from some arm standpoint, if people are going to look at the SEC pitching stats, you're going to see Georgia, about 13th, 14th, whatever in team ERA right now.
Yeah.
But as far as arms go, this is the most arm talent I've ever seen a Georgia team have. But man, they've got 17, 18 guys who can below 95 plus. And we got 4 guys they've been able to use 21 guys that pitch on a regular basis this year, and that's something that last year just killed them at the end of the year. They just ran out of gas, only really had like 2 or 3 pitchers they could depend on. Even then, guys like Colton Smith was just toast by the time the Super Regionals rolled around. But this year, I think they've got a lot more depth, and the starting rotation actually pitched pretty well. Going back, to the Texas series, one that the Longhorns, swept. So I think Georgia's in pretty good shape, and will they get be a national eight seed. I don't know, man. I was looking at the SEC standings today, and gosh, it's crowded. Unbelievable. Well, 4 teams with 12-9 records, and everybody else above us just look so legit. I mean, it's just people don't understand, don't get how tough the SEC is for baseball unless you're a hardcore follow the league on a regular basis. You just don't get it. But man, it's just murder out there every single week. And even I know Georgia has to go to Missouri, which hasn't won a conference game all year long.
Right.
I can promise you, Wes Johnson's scared to death about that and about being the first one to drop a game. And really, Georgia can't afford to right now if they want to again.
Well, when Missouri dropped 5 runs against Alabama in game 1, I thought, oh boy. Oh boy.
And it got worse from there.
But no, the comeback did happen for Alabama. But when they shot out 5-0, I was just like, oh my goodness, what is about to happen?
And that's exactly what Coach Johnson is worried about. Right now. I mean, the series is up in Columbia, so it's going to. Who knows what might happen in this league again. But Georgia, it's a series that Georgia honestly needs a sweep. And of course, next week Georgia goes to Alabama. Which could be for a national Super 8, number 8 seed in the tournament coming up. So that's such a ton on the line, just an absolute ton on the line for everybody right now.
Anthony, always appreciate you, man. It's good to get you back on the Blitz. Last time I think we had you, it was like the afternoon Blitz. So that was feels like a minute ago. But let the people know where they can find your work and follow the Georgia Bulldogs with you.
Yeah, they can follow me, first of all, on our website, ugsports.com, oldest site out there that's been covering the Bulldogs. And I've been covering the team, like 27, 28 years now. And a long time. But you can also find me on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it now, Anthony-1.
Always great, man. And yes, we all still get it confused.
All good. Yeah, I'm right there with you, brother.
It's Twitter in my heart.
Yeah, it's always Twitter. Always. Yeah. Appreciate you. Are you going to be down on the beach late May? I'll be down there.
I'm actually going to the North Carolina side of the beach this weekend, while Georgia and Missouri.
Nice.
I'll be on the beach doing a little bit of fishing. So
nice.
I hope to get back to the Gulf Coast there very soon.
Very nice. Always enjoy talking with you there, Anthony.
Yeah, guys. Same here.
That's Anthony Dasher. Again, you can check him out at ugasports.com. Georgia with 13 players taken in the NFL draft. That's only second behind the Ohio State with 14. Then Texas had 12 players drafted, and Oregon had 10 players drafted.
That's crazy to me.
Yeah.
I don't know. When I think of Oregon, I don't think of a huge draft capital. I think a team that has a lot of speed, that produces a lot of picks that would get in the later half of the draft.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a different world now that we're seeing. I mean, a lot of the top quarterbacks going out to Oregon to play for Dan Lanning, and I don't know what they're going to do this year, but we're going to find out soon enough.
Some Georgia DNA. I know Alabama fans say, "Well, wait a second, it's got some Alabama DNA." Yeah, I get that, but he's got a little bit of Kirby there with him as well with Dan Lanning. But anyway,
let's take it to break. When we get back, finishing out this Monday edition of the Blitz here on 97.7 ESPN The Zone and WZZN TV, 256-576-97.7 to get in on the show. We'll be right back.
Specializing in simple and affordable rentals, McCurry Van and Car Rental can make sure you have just the right vehicle for your next family vacation, weekend getaway, or if you just need transportation while your vehicle is being repaired. McCurry carries Ford Transit vans and Mercedes Sprinter vans, trucks and work vans, and more. And they offer discounted rental rates for long-term rentals. Now with 4 locations: Athens, Muscle Shoals, Coleman, and Huntsville. Log on McCurryRentals.com to make your reservation now. That's McCurryRentals.com.
Carrabba's Italian Grill is the best place to enjoy authentic Italian cuisine, passed down from our founders' family recipes. Featuring a wood-burning grill, you can enjoy Carrabba's signature dishes, including chicken brine, wood-fired grilled steak and chops, and classic Italian pasta dishes. Have a special event? Elevate your catering with Carrabba's Catering, the perfect way to enjoy large party portions of your favorite hand-prepared dishes for any event. Carrabba's Italian Grill at Parkway Place, Huntsville.
SportsMed is the official team physicians of the Rocket City Trash Pandas. And if the pros trust SportsMed, you can too. SportsMed provides every service you might need for complete orthopedic care, specializing in orthopedic surgery, sports medicine, joint replacement, spine surgery, neurosurgery, and podiatry. And they offer their own brace shop, in-house full-body MRI, physical therapy, walk-in clinic, and so much more. 4 locations and on the web at sportsmedalabama.com. Eagle Masonry and Insulation. It's right there in the name. Eagle is your one-stop shop for block, stone, or brickwork, monument signs, and outdoor kitchens and fireplaces. Eagle also offers the finest craftsmanship and insulation, including fiberglass or spray foam insulation, and of course, insulation removal. Philip Love and his team have years of experience, bringing the region the best in masonry and insulation services. For more information and a quote, visit insulatewitheagle.com or call 256-755-1556. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money. When you call most roofing companies, all you'll hear is, you need a new roof. Not when you call Fleming. At Fleming Roofing and Restoration, we're focused on your needs, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement. Folks around here have trusted Fleming since 1965 for all their residential and commercial roofing needs. And as the area's storm damage experts, Fleming knows all the ins and outs of the insurance claims process. Log on FlemingHSV.com to schedule your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
From Coleman to Fayetteville and all points in between.
Son, pull the hammer back. Smokey's coming at you in a plain white wrapper.
97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Final segment, last segment. Final time for you to get your calls in. 256-576-97.7. Let's head right to the phone lines. Brandon's on with us. Thank
Brandon.
you. Thank you for waiting so patiently, Brandon. We finally got time to get you on.
How are you,
doing,
Brandon?
Man, I'm laughing my butt off. This Jeff Ulbricht's kid.
Yeah.
Yeah. The prank call.
Yeah, he placed that call from the Berry College dorm.
He didn't get fired, right?
I don't think he got fired.
Your kids are going to do dumb stuff, man.
Well, but you still are representing an NFL team. Are you not?
Yeah, but he probably never thought that somebody would be so sneaky as to go through his iPad and get a number out.
Brandon, even as kids, we had star 69. I mean, I'm trying to think about, was it a burner phone at least? I mean, did he use his own cell phone?
There's video of him calling.
There's
him on the
video.
Facebook. That's what I don't understand.
Come on.
Video.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, it is. Look, if you're going to do a prank call at that scale,
So it's not a burner phone and you've got a video on you. Hey, guess what I'm going to do? And no one's going to see it. Oh, there's a camera there? No big deal.
Oh, geez. It's just like, it's 2025. Why does everything have to be filmed? If it was a prank call them on an old Nokia and then just dump it off
Is this
somewhere.
Bart Simpson calling the bar with Mo?
My God.
You know?
Yeah. And it wasn't just, that's the thing though. It wasn't just Sheduer. Tyler Warren got a prank call. Isaiah Bond got a prank call. There were several players that got pranked. But this one, is going to be on film because Sheduer and the Sanders love to film everything.
It's 404. It's 404.
Well, when I was a kid, we'd have just called from a payphone, but those don't exist anymore.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's why I was thinking, surely to goodness, this was a burner phone and they had to track it back. And,
No.
I mean, all of a sudden that thing it was detailed. The story that came out from ESPN almost just like minutes after it happened. What an idiot.
That's funny stuff. And I was going to tell you guys, so I'm in Chattanooga eating over the weekend.
Yeah.
May the 20th, Bee's Restaurant in Chattanooga is having their 75th anniversary special.
I've never been there.
All you can eat for $1.
I come. I bet it'll take me starting now to get there because of how wonderful traffic is in Chattanooga.
Well, I said something to them up there. I was like, I got some friends that might want to bring the station up here, and they might want to broadcast during this all you can eat. I said, can they do it the entire time they're broadcasting? And the guy looked at me and he said, I don't see why there'd be a problem with it.
Always trying to set us up with something. I appreciate that. Always nice. Brandon, we appreciate you, man.
Oh, wait, you still got more?
The guy that you had on earlier that was talking about the situation with Sheduer.
Yeah, that was Gary Barnett, the former Buffalo head coach and part of the radio network.
Football's changed a lot since he's coached.
He nailed that.
Yeah.
Understanding that Sheduer doesn't understand the world's not at his feet anymore, that you work for somebody.
Yeah.
I don't know if the Brian Daboll accusation is true, but if that's true and he acted like that with every team he went to, no wonder he went to the 5th round.
No doubt. Yeah.
And Kiper and them don't want to talk about that.
No, they
give
don't.
you an install package and you walk in and you can't even talk about what they gave you because you didn't even bother to look at it.
Stuck that $20 bill inside the playbook.
And it was still there. It was still there.
I mean, what did you think they were going to do? Call him in and talk about eating cupcakes? No, they want to know your football acumen and if what you can do. And when you think you just walk in and make it happen because you think you're talented, that's why you end up in the 5th round and not in the 1st round. Now, he may have
those that are old enough to remember, and Brandon, I'm going to lump you in with me. When Dion got drafted, it was a lot of sizzle. It was, but I mean, I would just take a look a little bit at the pedigree there. But I mean, he certainly has the talent to be a high-level quarterback in the NFL.
Well, if he could run a 4.3 40, it might be different.
It's true. This is true.
Brandon, he's no Jalen Milrow, right?
Appreciate you, Brandon. Good stuff from you, man. No, he is no Jalen Milrow. Roll time. Yeah. I think he'll be able to show up. It's just, again, this is a quarterback from Colorado. This isn't
How good of a fit is it?
This isn't a player from Florida State.
Joe Flacco is going to be the starting quarterback out of the gate.
No doubt. Matthew, sorry we couldn't get you on. We'll get you on tomorrow. Just call back in, 256-576-9777.
Or you could hold on for the next hour and 5 minutes.
You think Tom wants to talk what he's – oh, no.
Sure he does.
Ain't no way.
Sure he does.
We'll be back tomorrow.
The Abraham at noon.
The sound of the organ. The crack of the bat.
It is gone.
The sight of watching the ball go over the wall. And the taste of peanuts and Cracker Jacks. There's nothing like it. It's America's pastime. From the first pitch to the final out, you can hear every game right here on your home for Alabama baseball.
Your home of the Alabama Crimson Tide is 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Ford Motor Company. From America, for America. Hi, folks. Bobby White back again for Woody Anderson Ford with a real quick quiz. Out of all the manufacturers, do you know which auto company employs the most hourly workers in America? Ford. Do you know which company assembles the